This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. We have a Bosch washing machine that isn't agitating and isn't spinning. It fills and it drains. So I suspect the motor brushes are probably just worn out. We're getting no motor action. So I'm on the back removing the back panel. So I took out all these peripheral screws. I'm going to lift up a little bit, get this off, and that'll give me access to the motor. And that is where the motor brushes are. Here's the motor. So I'm going to take the belt off. I'm just going to pull toward me a little bit as I turn the big pulley, and that'll just take the belt right off. And I have to remove the electrical connection and then 2 bolts here to get the motor off. So I just wiggled the modular connector down back a few times to get it out. And then I just want to get one zip tie there at the bottom. Got to remove to get the wire harness off. We're going to pull these bolts next. Okay, I'm going to remove these 2 10mm bolts. It's pretty common that when these machines don't agitate and don't spin, that the motor is usually fine, but the motor brushes are just wiped out. They just wear out over time. So I'm just going to pull the motor toward me a little bit, and then I'm going to cut that one wire tie. It's just holding it on. There we go. There's the motor. It's just connected right there. I'm going to snip off that one. Okay. Cut off that wire tie. Zip tie. There we go. Zip ties off. So we got the wire off. Pull the motor out. There we go. And we got a brush on each side. We're going to remove them. So to remove the brush, we're going to get the spade connector off first. We're going to pull that off. And I think you have to press in on a little button there with something sharp. Okay. So we're going to push in. That. Pull that back. Okay, so we got that off, and now we're going to push this copper piece to your left. Get that out. Go the other way. Let's see. Yeah, that's the way. Up. I would lift it up a little bit, and I'm going to pull it to my right, slip it out of its hole. I can get the brush out. There's the spring. I just pull up, and then the brush should follow. Ooh, that's a really tiny brush. So that thing just wore out over time. I'll go ahead and put the new brush in. So here's the new part number from Bosch. 00154740. Comes with 2 brushes. These tend to be around $30 to $50. Comes with the 2. Go ahead and put those in and do this side, then we'll do the other side. So So here's our new one. So we can see that quite a bit of difference, and when they get too short they can't send power to the motor anymore, so then you just don't get any motor response. So we have to consider with this angle here which way it's going to go, in this way or this way. We can look at how this is angled and how it will come in contact with a round part here, so we know that that makes sense for it to be that way. So we're going to push in, just gently push in the brush, and then we'll stuff the spring back in there too. And to do that, sometimes you can use like a standard head screwdriver, kind of helps you to guide the spring into that copper round piece, the cylinder. That's the tricky part. And then once you got it in there, you're going to put that little tab in to hold it. So just take your time. It's easy to take these out, a little harder to put them in. But I'm just going to push the spring back in. Going to guide it in, compress it. Just keep pushing the spring in until you get it all the way in. The important thing, I think, though, is that the spring is all the way in there, that it's not gonna bounce around at all or get crimped. Got to be able to move. Got to push it all the way in there. Keep compressing it. So I made sure the little copper piece is above the spring. Still pushing the spring in, almost done. Pushing it down, keeping it in there with the screwdriver, holding it with my finger. Okay, so now I want to push the bigger end of this thing into the slot first. Push that in, and then I'll push in the smaller end. All right. So I got this thing to slide in the first part. And now, make sure that spring is all the way in there. It's trying to pop out again. Get in there. Put in the other side. Kind of hard to see. It's a small area. All right. Okay, so I got the little part in, and I'm going to slide the whole thing to my right now. There we go. So that locked it in. We got the brush in there, the spring is in there, tab is in there. So now we have to hook the spade connector onto that tab, and that'll send power to that spade connector. It'll send it through the wire, through the brush, into the motor. And you're going to be good. You just got to repeat that on the other side. So as I do this, I think I'll push behind with my standard head screwdriver to offer it support while I push the spade connector on. Make sure that spade connector sits on there tight. Don't want that coming loose during operation, huh? All right, cool. So that's locked on. Brand new brush, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side and then reinstall it, and it's going to work great. We're going to do that same thing. We're just going to stuff the spring in. So we're just doing the other side. I'm going to push the spring in a little bit more inside. Looks good, looking good. The spring's just trying to creep out. Get in there. There we go. Okay. I'm going to push this to my side. Lock it in. There we go. Now we'll put the spade connector on. I think I'll push in behind it a little bit with the standard head screwdriver. So before, when we tried agitation and spin, we got nothing, like not even a little bit. Usually when these go out, you'll get like intermittent spin, won't spin as strong, and then eventually nothing. So these were just nubs compared to what they should be. Okay, that's done. So now we just do our reinstall. And to do that, I'm going to put the motor back in and then put the bolts back on and then the belt, and we will be done. So here's our motor connector. Here comes the motor. So we're just tightening those two 10mm bolts back down to hold on the motor. We already got the motor connector on. Get those tight. Throw on the belt. So when you do the belt, you got the rib part, and that's going to go against the little pulley down here, the motor pulley. Make sure those fit onto the motor pulley. And then you lift it up over the big pulley. And then it's kind of simple. What you want to do is push in and then rotate, and it'll self-feed. That stretches it out. And then spin it a few times. Yeah, it looks good. So we'll put the back panel back on. Get these little tabs to hook on these guys right here. So lift up a little bit and then let those lock in. Got it. Get the flashlight out of there. Then we'll just put on those screws and that's done. Okay, we've got all the peripheral screws back on the back panel. We'll go ahead and spin the machine around and we'll plug it in and give it a test. We're going to test spin. We got set to spin. We got the power on. Press start. Let's see what it is. It's set for 1,000 RPMs and it's ramping up. Pretty noisy. But about 2 cycles later, it'll wear the brushes in and won't make that kind of whine. Looks good. Thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe to our channel when you get a chance.